Okay, so my plan for the future is to hopefully someday become the governor of Connecticut. I see this as a long term goal, 20 years, maybe even more of a plan out. I got a lot of back end stuff to get through first. Like, I want my daughter to be older because I don't want to sacrifice any time with her now while she's young. And I also want to work. I think I'm gonna have to work my way up. I don't think I can just boop boop go from nothing to there. I want to get into local politics and get on like committees and boards. Then maybe work my way up to the mayor of my town, and then maybe become a state rep for my district, and then I can take it to governor. So that's why I see it as like a 20 to 25 ish year plan. I got a ways to go. So, but anyhow, in the meantime, I figured I can make videos and build up this platform. And, maybe Connecticut residents will see my account and they'll get familiar with me and it'll help me have like facial recognition. And, people will understand where I'm coming from. And then when the time does come when I want to run, you kind of know about me. I don't have to try to dump it all on you right then and there. So, anyways, I've already had a few ideas, and there's plenty more to come. Trust me, this is something I've been thinking about since 2016, and I just started doing this account 2025. So I got 9 years of ideas that I want to tell you about. Anyways, today's idea is something that I actually heard from somebody that I'm very close to. So I was talking to someone, and somebody that they work with. I think I don't know if it's a secondary story or what it is, but they were being told a story from somebody who said that they have a 12-year-old daughter who's like big for a 12-year-old. And apparently this kid doesn't like to bathe. And so the mom, I don't know, I guess the mom's a single mom or something, just kind of gives up and doesn't bother fighting with the kid. I guess the story was, oh, she's too big. It's not like when she's small and I can pick her up and throw her in the shower. She's too big for that now. I mean, personally, as a side note, I see it as you're the mom. Like, you tell the kid what's happening. The kid's 12. You get the F in that shower. I ain't dealing with you. But whatever, I guess to each their own. So, anyways, the kid usually stinks, goes to school like this, what have you. What am I trying to say? I don't know. What have you, I guess? It's coming out weird, though. Anyways, um, so I guess one day DCF showed up to this person's house, and they assumed it probably had to do something with the kid. Like, DCF was called on because the kid's dirty and it looks like neglect or whatever, so they're ready to explain the situation. Like, yes, I'm aware my kid's disgusting. I want my kid to clean up, but she gives me a hard time, and I just don't feel like fighting with her over it. But apparently, what it actually was somebody, maybe from the school district or something, had called DCF on her because she doesn't affirm the child's trans delusions. Like, that's pretty insane if you ask me, that DCF is going to get involved if you don't want to affirm that your child thinks that they're trans. I mean, basically, when DCF showed up to the house, they said that it's a form of abuse that you don't affirm that. I guess the daughter is a son. So since the mom doesn't affirm that her daughter is a boy, that's somehow abuse. That's ridiculous. So I'm gonna get into this more, but that's one thing I would be killing almost day one. Is DCF is not gonna be getting involved in situations like that. People who think that there's something that they're not, oh, I'm a girl trapped in a boy's body, or the other way around. That's a mental illness. That's not a reality. There is no such thing as being trans. You can be an amputee and be missing an arm. You can be currently bleeding. You can be bald. You can't be trans. There's nothing about it that's real. It's all in here. You have some kind of imbalance, or nowadays it seems to just be the thing. It's the cool thing. It's the trend. So now you're just trying to go along with the trends and fit in with your friends. Hey, I'm trans too, guys. And for a parent to go along with that, that is the abuse. Let's put it this way. A kid can't go and buy, or I should say a person can't go and buy alcohol until they're 21. You can't go and buy cigarettes until you're 18, or at least last I knew. It might be 21 now. I think that's changed. I'm not entirely sure. I don't care. I don't smoke, so it doesn't really affect me. But regardless, 18 or 21 you have to be to buy cigarettes. You can't get a tattoo, I think, until you're 16, right? 16, 18, somewhere around there. You can't go to war until you're 18. You can't get a license until you're 16. But, you can be 6 years old and say, mommy, I'm actually a boy. And your parents are supposed to just go along with that? And then go and what? Take you to the doctors to get gender affirming care and get puberty blockers and all this nonsense? That is abuse. That is a insane lifelong commitment that destroys your body and everything. Possibly, well, I wouldn't say worse than all other things, but, possibly worse than, let's say, a tattoo. At least a tattoo, you can easily just someday go and get rid of it. Oh, I got this tattoo when I was 8. It was pretty stupid, but I want to get LASIK and remove it now. You F up your body, that's forever. You ain't fixing that ever again. And that's not the abuse, though, to go along with that? That's insane. And I don't care what anybody tries to pull about any studies either, because these studies are all new. This whole entire trans thing really only blew up like around COVID. So there are no proper studies. A proper study is at least generational, 25 plus years of research and gathering data, not 4 years. Oh, well, the studies say this. Yeah, what studies? Who did you conduct it with? 10 people? Like, of course you're going to have the results that you're looking for when you're only talking to 10 people. So, but yeah, so that would end. That is ridiculous. DCF is not going to get involved because somebody wants to say that, no, my daughter is a daughter, and I don't care what she says. If anything, DCF would get involved for the reverse. If there's parents that are trying to affirm that their kids are trans, DCF would be getting involved with that. Like, what are you trying to push onto your kids? What are you trying to make your kids become? Because a lot of times that's what trans bull crap is. It's the parents are pushing this nonsense onto their kids, especially when it's young ones. Like, you see videos on TikTok where it's like, my 1.5-year-old knows he's trans. And it's like, what? The kid doesn't even know how to talk. You're going to say that he knows he's trans? No, that's you pushing your weird delusions of, I don't know, grandeur or whatever onto your kid. Like, that is abuse. Not a parent who's saying, no, you're a girl, and then either working with the child themselves to try to fix the problem, or going to family counseling or something to help fix the child, and get the proper, maybe medicines or whatever to help balance out whatever weird imbalances are going on in their head, making them think these outlandish things. Going back to examples again, I don't know why we're supposed to accept this when somebody claims that they're trans. Like, that's ridiculous. If somebody was schizophrenic and they were talking to someone in the corner over there, we wouldn't just be like, oh, he's just schizophrenic. That person's real to him, so he's real to us too. No, you'd be like, oh boy, this guy really needs some help. And then you'd try to figure out what you could do to help this person, especially if you're close to them. Whether it's a coworker or a family member. I mean, if it's some weirdo on the side of the street, you'd just be like, ugh, that's a little bit uncomfortable. But, you wouldn't just be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. But, a boy wants to say that he's a girl, and all of a sudden, yup, you go in the women's locker room and make sure you change with them. You compete in their sports with them and completely destroy them because you got that testosterone. You're a girl. No. And that's another thing that would be ending in the state, too. There would be no more gender-affirming care for anyone under 18. If you're an adult and you want to do this to yourself, fine. To each their own. Have fun, I guess. Destroy your body. That's your choice. You're an adult. Of course, there'd still be, or at least there used to be, I don't know if there still is, but mental evaluation. I mean, I do know somebody who went trans, and they went through a lot of mental evaluations to be sure that this is what they wanted. So we would still have that with adults, and then if you still, pass the test or whatever, then fine, go for it. Make yourself trans. But 18 and under, nope, not happening. You are still a kid. You still have, your brain is still developing. Everything about you, actually, is still developing. Like, you're not going to be making this insane, drastic, life-altering decision as a kid. And your parents don't have a say either, because it's just ridiculous. They're abusers if they're going to follow along with this. And maybe you should be taken from the home then and put into an actual loving home who will properly care for you instead of just, let you destroy yourself and ruin your life. When somebody's a raging alcoholic or druggie and you don't like it, you try to do what you can to get them help. Even if it's to get an intervention together or try to get them into a hospital or whatever. So why isn't it the same when it comes to trans nonsense? Why are you supposed to just go along with it? You don't go along with that alcoholic. Oh, man, buddy. Oh, well, I guess if you like drinking, here's another 30-pack. No, you go, man, buddy, you gotta stop this. You're ruining your life. But somebody claims to be trans and we're supposed to just say, yep, that's fine. You are that. No. So, yeah, when I heard that story, I was like, that's not even something that I was thinking of on my radar. But when I heard that story, I was like, oh, my God. It's this deep that DCF would get involved and call you an abuser because you don't go along with the delusions? So, yeah, that would be ending. Like, almost day one. Week one, at least. Sometime within the first week, that would be done. No more DCF trying to get called on people who don't gender affirm. And hospitals, you're not doing gender affirming care anymore on individuals under 18.